Let's talk about protecting your prizes. I showed you how to go out and get clams both in deep water and on islands when it's not a low tide. I think today we're looking at just under a foot above zero. So it definitely wasn't a minus tide, and that's when most people clam. And most people don't clam when you're above zero, nearly a foot above zero, what we did today. But if you know where your clams are and you have a rake long enough, you can get out to the islands or do that deep water clamming that I talked about. Remember, don't be under power with electric motor or any type of motor, because that is not legal. But as long as you're drifting or paddling, you're absolutely fine. Let's take a look at our trophies here. You can see we got some pretty good sized cockles. My wife wanted me to explain to everybody that nobody's going to believe that I was getting 3 or 4 at a time. I didn't do it today, but many times I've gotten 5. Multiple times, like 5, and then a few minutes later got another 5. That eagle claw rake is great for that. The negative, it's metal, it's cold on your hands, it's hard work, it's unwilling. I've ran into a couple gentlemen that have had those in the past. They're a little, and they tried it one time and hated it. It's a little bit of work to use because it's a slow drag and it's a tactile feel. You feel the clams, and once you feel them, you kind of stay in that area and keep scooping and pull it in, and you'll load up on clams. And like I said, it's the only way I know to get clams from a boat in deep water. I got it rigged up to about 12 feet of water that I can go down and rake and get clams. So the other thing we want to do, you can keep your clams. You'll find all this research on the web where you can keep clams in a bucket with a wet towel on top. They'll stay alive for days apparently in a refrigerator. You can look that up online so I don't give you any misinformation. If you put water in it, like my wife's parents used to do, they drove up and down the coast. So when they went back home, they constantly pulled over every couple hours and refilled with fresh salt water, keeping the clams, happy. But if you just leave them in water and you don't refresh it, they're going to die. They'll run out of oxygen. So if you have clams in a bucket and there's no water, they're not going to purge themselves. Cockle shells, these cockle shells, they take about a day. I use a day and a half that I keep them in water, and they'll purge themselves completely of sand. There's nothing worse than having a beautiful meal, fresh clams. It's like the gold from the sea, and you get sand in the clam. It just ruins the meal. So these clean out probably in about a day. I usually let them go a day and a half so I know there's no sand. The purple varnish that I've showed you before in other videos, those take nearly 3 days. 2 days at least, maybe 3 days. They're the slowest purging of all the clams up here, but they're a great steamer. In a bucket, no water, they won't purge. In a bucket with water, you don't change it, you'll kill them. You got to change the water. My solution is I got this little bait trap oxygen aerator like they use. It's portable, it's for bait tanks, maybe aquariums if you're traveling long distances. It has a little stone, you drop it in, you turn it on. It runs off of D-cell batteries. Make sure you get some rechargeable batteries. D-cell batteries nowadays will cost you an arm and a leg. 2 batteries could be as much as 12 or 14 bucks in a store. Get yourself rechargeables, get a charger, you're going to use this forever. The other thing I did is I put some E6000, which is like shoe goop, silicone, right where this connects through the hole. And I don't get any splashing when I'm driving. Otherwise, I'd get splashing. I got water up here and actually ruined one of these devices. I never wanted to do that again, so I seal these. This is simply Velcroed on, and just put that on there. If I want to disconnect it and take it off, I take it the tubing off here. And this is my little kit. Put it down, seal it on, turn on the air, and they're happy as a clam. So enjoy, go get clams. Remember, I showed you in a canoe how to get clams when nobody else is clamming. Everybody clams on the minus tides, especially the extreme minus tides. But you can go out now in what we call a zero tide, like right about zero, a foot below, 6 inches below zero. Most people will never try clamming because it's too difficult, and you're going to limit out. So when I come up crabbing, And keep in mind, crabbing tides are terrible for clamming because you don't want a lot of water movement. And clamming tides are terrible for crabbing. So I can come up on a crabbing tide, get the lowest tide of the day, go out, get my limit of clams, and then go out and knock out the crab. And that's what we're up here for. So enjoy.